Okay, so to do color, you're going to want to paint color on a separate layer from your the drawing part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to label the drawing layer, and then I'm going to make a new one that's empty, and that one is going to be my painting layer. Okay. So now what you want to do is you're going to pick two colors. The two colors should be high contrast. They should really go stand out against each other. So you don't want like light purple and dark purple. You want like complementary colors are good. So like blue and orange, purple and yellow, red and green, or black and white, or red and black, something with a lot of contrast. As you had noticed in my original design, I did a blue and orange. That's my favorite complementary pair. But maybe for this example, I will pick a different color. So I'll do a purple and yellow for this one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my paintbrush, and I want to set this to about 40. You want a pretty soft-edged brush. Sorry about the bell. You want a soft-edged brush, and about 40 is a good size. And then you want to make sure before you start painting, we're going to go to the drawing layer, and we're going to use our magic wand. What we're going to do is we're going to pick every other shape with our magic wand like this. So I'm going to click that one, and then I'm going to go up here where it says add to selection, and then I'm going to skip this one, and then I'm going to go to this one. And then I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to go to this one. So I have 3 of those 6 shapes selected. So what's really awesome about this is when you start painting, it'll only paint inside of those selection areas, so you won't end up accidentally painting outside. It allows you to be kind of messy with it. You're going to go over to the painting layer, make sure you click on that one, and then grab your paintbrush and make sure your opacity is at 100. And now what you're going to do is you're going to start painting from the edge inward towards the middle. I want you to notice some things that I'm doing here, okay? One of the things I'm doing is I'm painting in the direction of the curve. So I'm not going up and down like this or like back and forth. I'm going side to side in the direction of the curve. I'm also not filling in the whole thing. We're going to leave some white in the middle that's going to end up being the highlight, and that makes it look round. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the next piece. Again, I'm painting towards the middle, side to side instead of back and forth. And then I'm going to do it again. You'll notice as you get to the pieces that are smaller, you don't have to paint as far in, obviously. Now, in order to show like a step or like a gradation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my opacity down on my brush. I'm going to make it 50%. So now it's half as opaque. So it's going to be kind of transparent, and I'm going to continue painting now, still using that same technique where I'm painting towards the middle, so side to side. And then I'm going to leave a portion of that middle piece just white. I'm not going to paint anything there. And I'm going to do that same process for all the pieces on this row. And then the last one here. If you need to zoom in, you can. Zooming in can be helpful so you can see it a little better, especially on the smaller pieces. All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Control D as in dog, and that gets rid of the selection. Now I'm going to go back to my drawing layer. I'm going to use my magic wand, and I'm going to click on the other pieces that were not part of that, basically the white ones on this pie piece. So those 3 pieces. Now I need to pick my other color that I'm going to paint with, and I'm going to use like a yellow because purple and yellow are color opposites, so that makes a nice like a nice contrast, which is one of our goals. Make sure you switch over to your paint layer. You grab your paintbrush. I'm going to set it back up to 100%, and then I'm going to do the same process that I did with the purple, but with my yellow paint. So again, painting in the direction of the curve. I'm showing you some techniques that you could use if you're on paper and pencil, or if you're on the computer. Like this technique is useful to do shading and highlighting, no matter which, where you are, what medium you're using. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to reduce this to 50%, 50%-ish, and then I'm going to paint in the next, so it's kind of gradually, like kind of stepping it down. You want your highlight to more or less like line up along the pieces, like the shine should kind of go down this in a sort of in an order. That gives you the best results. But having it be like a little bit, not having like a harsh line along the highlight is, it gives it just a more organic feel. So it's something I like to do. All right, I'm going to hit Control D. And now I have the first, oops, sorry about that. I have the first section painted. Now, what you could do is you could just, if you want to paint them all at once, all of your purple pieces at one time, you could then, to the next piece, I'm gonna switch the order. So instead of this piece being purple, it's gonna be this piece being purple, like that. And then I'm gonna click on every other piece. Now I could just paint it like that. I could do the purple. If I wanted to have all my purple pieces selected right now, I could go into the next piece, and then I'm gonna do the opposite. So I'm going to select this one for purple, this one for purple, and this one for purple. This is an option. You don't have to do this. If you're finding this really confusing, please don't stress out about it. It's just something that I did to make it more efficient. And I'm just selecting every other piece. So if you do this right, then you will have every other piece. And you could kind of test this if you want. Like a way to test it would be like to just run, oops, I have the wrong color. Let me make sure I have the right color. And also I'm going to turn up my opacity. Also want to make sure I'm on my painting layer. So there's a few steps. Okay, so if I just run this down, it'll show me if I have the right pieces selected. It should be alternating. It should be an alternating pattern. Now I did notice that there was one little spot where this piece right here is selected as well. It's because there's a gap in this line. So I don't want to paint that by accident. All right. I just did that to kind of test my selection, make sure it's accurate, it looks good. So now I can just go in and do that same process I did on this one. Here, I could just start painting in the shape of the curve, leaving room for the 50% brush. And then do the next one. So when you look at it, it should be purple against yellow, or whatever colors. You don't have to use my colors, but you should have the opposite colors next to each other. You shouldn't have purple against purple. All right. So then I would lower my brush. Oh, and I can keep painting, right? I can go up to the next pieces. Remember, we're painting in the direction of the curve. I have to be a little careful because this piece is selected by accident. So I'm just gonna, okay, and I don't want to, I'm not going to paint this whole thing for you guys right now. I just want you to see the process. Okay. And then eventually, if you do it, if you follow those directions, you will end up with something that looks like this.